And welcome back, everyone. Excuse me. It's Halloween Q&A 2025. My Me6 cup here, full of an adult beverage. And we are just here to talk all the questions that you have given. If you're curious what I'm drinking today, because we're now in autumn, it's gotten cooler out, decided to go with something a little akin to a hot toddy, basically a warm alcoholic beverage. It's a mix of gin, bergamot liqueur, or Italicus, which is a bergamot flavored liquor, basically kind of like an Earl Grey kind of base liquor. Not, it's got a similar profile to an Earl Grey tea. Some lemon juice and hot water. Again, essentially a hot toddy. Now, that being said, let's just get into it. Let's not waste time. We'll see how quickly we can get through these while still taking your time. So, Power to the 99 asked the question, if I had to write a Naruto movie, what would I do? I think it would have to depend on when the Naruto movie's taking place. Are we taking place in like part 1, like the original 3 movies did? Or is it a Shippuden era movie? Or is it after Shippuden era? If I were to throw my hat in the ring, what I think the best era to make a Naruto movie would be, I would say there's probably more you can do with the Shippuden era because characters have grown. Now, what would I do for the movie? Oh, hell if I know. Because we know, the problem is, a lot of things I'd like to address, say like the Naruto-Hinata relationship, was already addressed in the Naruto last movie. In fact, that was a huge plot point of that movie. Naruto, and I mean, the Tail Beasts, again, those are addressed multiple times. Maybe having something, you know what, we only have heard of Dragon-based jutsu, and apparently, at least in some statement in either a game or whatever, dragons allegedly exist in the Naruto world. But you know what? Something to do with dragons, like a creature similar to a tail beast, but not a tail beast that's basically a dragon, and them having to deal with that. I'd be down for that. All right, then. James Riley asked the question, best movie that bombed. Well, okay, that's subjective. Any best of or worst of is subjective. But in my opinion, if we're talking about constituting a bomb, we're talking about, at the very minimum, financially lost a hell of a lot of money. At least. Doesn't matter if the critics liked it, doesn't matter if the audience liked it. I take that back. In my opinion, I've always said the difference between a flop and a bomb is a flop usually fails in at least one respect, and one of them has to be financially. Like if a movie flops, it didn't make its money back, but the critics and audiences liked it, and it didn't lose a lot of money. A bomb it didn't just make a lot of money, or it didn't just not make a lot of money. It lost a lot of money. I think that's the big difference. One doesn't make a lot of money, or barely only loses a little money. A bomb loses a lot of money. Okay, so if I'm using that as my parameter, what is the best movie that bombed at the box office, in my opinion? It's a really good question, actually. I'd lean towards movies like, say, The Nice Guys, which was a great movie that no one went to go out and see. If we're thinking about like very a lot of like big budget spectacles that didn't do well, ooh. You know what? Edge of Tomorrow. Edge of Tomorrow might be one of the best movies that bombed at the box office. Because that was a fantastic movie that just did not do the money it deserved to make on the budget it was on. So that'd be my answer to that. Insane Makayoshin asks, 1 of 4, what's your favorite type of video to create? A let's build, a what if, a Zanpakuto, etc. Okay, it depends on the mood, depends on the subject matter. For example, it might be more fun to do a Zanpakuto for a character than make a Pokemon team for a character. But I will say this, my favorite type of video to create is a what if. Because I have to create an entire branch timeline based off a single change. So that'd probably be the answer to that one. 2, any new series that you plan on covering? You mean like I plan doing? Not right now, no. I will do a random video every once in a while. Like I just talked about the Pokemon Generation 10 leaks that came out. And apparently there were even more leaks that came out for that recently. Nothing that talks much about like the actual Pokemon in the region, which I'm happy for. Because I do want to be surprised when we get that announcement video. Because those announcement videos and then getting like the region map and all that's the stuff I fucking live for when we get Pokemon season coming around and the new gens coming around. Like, we did get a basic description of what the legendary is supposed to represent, and we had the information on a specific type of Pokemon in the game, but nothing about starters, nothing about anything else in the game. So yeah. Anyway, but do I have any plans to cover a new series? No plans. And if you're talking about covering, like, am I gonna do new what ifs based on certain things? I mean, sure, we will most likely at some point tackle some One Piece what ifs. Even though I'm not very well kept up on the story, maybe that's when I should really get and start reading. You know what? I think I'm actually going to make a point of starting to, because we have a Barnes and Nobles in town. I think I'm going to make, because I started also Hunter x Hunter and Black Clover, so I could get more involved with those as more what ifs came in. Hunter x Hunter is going to be an odd one to do. It's going to be because Nen can be literally anything. You can make a Nen out of anything. The only thing I can really apparently do concrete with Nen is determine what type of Nen user each character I would use in a Naruto versus would be, because there is actually a chart, a actual graph for that. And if you want an example of what the Naruto characters would be, watch Nick NC Hammer's videos. He did a video on that. But no, right now I'm not planning to cover any new series. 3. An A03 writer recently wrote, I don't know what that is, recently wrote a story based on 616 Hank Pym, based on where 616 Hank Pym meets and mentors a Peter Parker. It draws on the original comics for inspiration. What 2 or more heroes from the same company that debuted within a year of each other would you like to see become a team? Okay, when we say 616, I believe that's the MCU designation, even though that's technically not what it is. Hold on. Marvel 616, because technically, Marvel 616. Because technically speaking, the main comic universe, if I'm not mistaken, is Earth 616. But the Marvel 616, I believe, is also, at least what Kevin Feige has designated, as the MCU, if I'm not mistaken. Although other dimensions have recategorized it. Because let me put it this way: if you're talking about comics, couldn't answer that question. That's too big of a question. But if you're talking about, like, say, in movies, characters that debuted within a year of each other, because you're right. You are right, because Peter Parker in the MCU did debut within a year of Ant-Man. So you are right about that. I mean, to be fair, you could piggyback off of that and go Spider-Man does something like Doctor Strange, where his math actually becomes an advantage on using mysticism. Whether or not Spider-Man can actually use mysticism or not is unknown. We know that is kind of a genetic trait, surprisingly, with wizards and sorcerers. So that might be one I could do, or would do. If I were to branch over to the DCU, oh god, the problem is you're talking about mentoring, and except for Billy, there's really no good option in the DC. Oh no, wait, there's Jaime. There's Jaime. Someone, by the way, a while back corrected me. It's it's pronounced Jamie. It's like, no, it's not. It is pronounced Jaime. The J is pronounced as an H in Hispanic languages. You dunce. I hate one of my biggest pet peeves is when people try to correct me on things that they clearly don't know a damn bit about. I'm not an expert on everything. Even things I am extremely well knowledged in, I can't necessarily call myself an expert. But actually freaking think about what you're saying. Perfect example of this was actually in the most recent Who Would Win I just did. No, not this. Sorry. The Monday's Who Would Win, where it was the Royale Sniper Battle. And one person basically said it's a mismatch. It's basically whoever can take a bullet the best. Plus, Deadshot is a perfect marksman, and his universe scales way higher than the rest. That's like saying Raditz should be able to beat, I don't know, Naruto, simply on the grounds that his universe scales higher. No, yeah, let me use a weaker version character. That's like saying Chaozu could beat Naruto, and really, among the Z fighters, Chaozu is by far and away the weakest one. He's got abilities that could still be problematic, and that's a bit of versus for another day. But just saying someone's verse is high, like scales higher than someone else's verse, does not mean that person wins in a fight, especially when that person does not have the feats to back up that statement. So yeah, but yeah, maybe so. Yeah, Jaime and who? Huh. Um, who could I like have him mentor? Like not Jaime and Black Adam. That'd be stupid. I don't know who I would pair up with. Maybe like Shazam and Black Adam when they eventually were supposed to meet, but I don't know. All right, 4. Given that we have Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter, what type of supernatural hunters would the rest of the Mount Rushmore be? I'm thinking werewolf or Teddy, but I'm unsure. Okay, I do have to remember who's on. Obviously, it's Lincoln, it's Washington, it's Teddy Roosevelt. I can never remember. Is it Franklin? Mount Rushmore. Hold on. I always forget who the 4th one is. Mount Rushmore. Let's see. Who is I always forget who the faces on Mount Rushmore are. Okay, let's see here. We got Thomas Jefferson, Theodore. Okay, it was Jefferson. That's what it was. It was Thomas Jefferson, not Ben Franklin. Jefferson, I couldn't tell. He's the one like I know the absolute least about. Let's just say zombies for Jefferson. But I do honestly like the Theodore Roosevelt hunting werewolves. Bully, I'm having a bully day. Are you having a bully day? That one I like. As for Washington, ooh, Wendigo, because there was actually a movie kind of rolled around like why he had wooden teeth, like it was actually used for cannibalism. So Wendigo, I'll go Wendigo for Washington. All right then, Diego Lorente has one of many, but I'll just go down the list and try to find them all. I got 4 questions. I know you got more, but let's go. Muzan Kibusuchi versus Wolverine. Who actually wins in this fight? Because like a question you need to ask. What? Who wins this fight is a question. Is basically like a question you need to ask yourself. Who actually wins? Okay, so Demon Slayer demons can only really be killed by a specialized blade in their world. That being said, that's in their world. You take someone like a master of magic or something like that, they would be able to kill him, no problem. Wolverine's indestructible skeleton healing factor would make him very much hard to put down, though. So honestly, if it's a battle of attrition and Wolverine is just keeping it there and knows he has to keep until sunlight or till daybreak, because that's what kills demons, yeah, I'd say Wolverine wins that fight. Number 2, what's your favorite restaurant? That's a loaded question, because it could be fast food or it could be an actual restaurant. There's a lot of restaurants out there. If we're talking about my favorite fast food place, Five Guys. I love Five Guys. If we're talking about, say, like my favorite restaurant I've ever been to, oh man, there's a lot of seafood places I am a huge fan of. I don't know if I can answer that one. Number 3, do you remember Halloween back in the 90s and early 2000s? I remember going trick-or-treating. I do remember it. Like Halloween has kind of changed in a lot of ways, unfortunately. Question 4, I know there's more. If you can bring back one this McDonald's item. If you can bring back this McDonald's item, another chance, what item do you want to? Okay. I'm guessing grammar isn't necessarily your strongest fit, and I'm not trying to make fun of you. I'm just saying it makes it a little difficult to read. Proofread if you can. Even if English isn't your first language, try to proofread and make it as coherent as possible. I think I understand what you're saying. If there's a McDonald's item that I were to bring back to give a second chance, what would it be? I'll be honest. While I ate McDonald's as a kid, I don't give a rat's ass about McDonald's now. I do not eat McDonald's now. Bonus question, and there's plenty more, I know. What's your honest opinion about Sora 2? About Sora 2, the video that can make real. I don't know what that is. I don't know what you're asking in that question. Sorry about that, Diego. And I know you have a couple other. Okay, what object class for all demons from Demon Slayer will? What object class for SCP for the demons. What would be the object class for demons from Demon Slayer, including Muzan? Probably, honestly, just most of them should be able to be contained by SCP standards. Quite frankly, some of them have some pretty random but powerful abilities. So I would say some of them would be safe class, some of them would be Euclid class, and some of them would probably be Cater class. Muzan might be Cater class because it'd be hard to contain. Diego asks again, what's your favorite heavy metal song? For me, at least, has to be Alice in Chains or Guns N' Roses or Led Zeppelin. Well, that's not a song, that's a band. My favorite heavy metal song? Oh, that's a good question. I mean, it's a little hard not to say. I mean, if you're using those guys, first off, Led Zeppelin, sorry, that's not a metal band. That's a classic rock band. It was hard rock, but it's not a classic rock. It's not a metal band. Sorry. I know. Led Zeppelin is my favorite music group. I should know. Guns N' Roses, though, you could at least argue they're metal. They're definitely hard rock. I would say though it's kind of boring, but Enter Sandman. Although I do love Holy Diver too, and a lot of Black Sabbath stuff as well. I don't know Pink Floyd. Pink Floyd does not count as heavy metal or not. I still count. They're not heavy metal, dude. They're not even close to heavy metal. They are a more psychedelic classic rock group. Led Zeppelin's not a metal band. Guns N' Roses, there's at least an argument to be made. Alice in Chains, I believe, is a metal band. Indoraptor and Albert Wesker and Muzan versus Wolverine. Wait, you want all three of them versus Wolverine? Oh, what happened? X-Men, see what actually happened. Hypothetical. Okay, Wolverine could take down the Indoraptor, no worries. Albert Wesker would be difficult, but he's fought individuals far stronger than Albert Wesker, and honestly, he can, if he just tries to really just eviscerate him enough, his healing factor kind of just trumps his, and he's indestructible. Muzan, I know Muzan's got some crazy abilities, though. He's going to be the difficult one. And by the way, this is not even factoring in that it's 3-on-1, so they're going to try to overwhelm it, and Wolverine has been overwhelmed before. So it'd be difficult. I'm not saying Wolverine couldn't do it, but it'd be difficult. Question 3, it's not 3. What's your honest opinion on the Garfield movie 2 getting announced? I enjoyed the last one enough, so I'll probably be there, if nothing else, because the one viewer I had that would ask me to see the animated films. How would you fix the first film? That's difficult to say. Maybe trying to be less action-packed, honestly, because, but again, what would you actually expect from a Garfield movie? Like an actual legit Garfield movie, what exactly are the parameters that define that? I don't know how I'd fix the first one. Unless you're talking about the first one with Bill Murray as the voice, in which case that's a very different question. Then what's your favorite Ozzy Osbourne song or Guns N' Roses song? Okay, Ozzy Osbourne, it's hard not to say Crazy Train, honestly, but I'm also a big fan of Changes. So there's that. Guns N' Roses, though, oh man, that's a catch me on any day kind of question. Right now, I might say Mr. Brownstone. We've been dancing with Mr. Brownstone. He's been knocking. He won't leave me alone. I used to do a little, but a little wouldn't do it. A little got more. I just kept trying to do a little bit, see a little bit before. Can you tell? I have appetite for destruction, and I've listened to it a lot of times. I get up around 7. We don't stage around 9. But oh man, he's a real. Okay, I'm done. I got a question. Okay. What type of object? What kind of SCP classification would I give for all the monsters from Are You Afraid That? Okay, no, you can't give me that kind of question because I don't remember all the monsters from Are You Afraid of the Dark. Some of them would easily be safe because they're easy to contain. Others would be more difficult. And yeah, so there's that. Number 2, am I a Ben and Jerry's? Do you like Ben and Jerry's, Blue Bunny, Stone Cold, or Baskin Robbins? I'm gonna be flat out honest to all your faces. I think I've been in a Ben and Jerry's once. Once. Otherwise, I actually have never been to any of these places. We had a local ice cream place in town for decades called Bart's Ice Cream. It's unfortunately gone now. It's been replaced with I think it's I don't know if it's like a straight Amish one, but it's kind of a Puritan kind of based cafe. And it's not bad. But that was the ice cream place that we went to for the longest time. We also have a soft serve place about 20 minutes, half hour up the road called Cindy's. Very nice. I like that place. We also have Harold's Ice Cream, which is about a half hour drive. So those are the places I've been to. And of those, depends on what I'm on. If I want soft serves, I go to Cindy's. But if I don't want soft serve, I would go to Harold's. Question for Christmas. Christmas is coming. Did I believe in Santa as a little kid? Of course. Most people, I believe in Santa. All right. Name your top 3 favorite t-shirts that I own. I got a Godzilla with a birthday hat. One that I got for my birthday one year. It was my Pickle Rick shirt, and yeah, and I enjoy my black shirt, my standard black shirt. Sorry. Bill Cipher, Slappy the Dunny, Muzan versus the Skyrim universe. Diego, I love you, brother. I do. I appreciate the fact that you are very active in the community when it comes to the Q&As. Sometimes I don't understand where these questions come from. Bill Cipher would slap the shit out of it. Alone slaps the shit. Like, I don't know why Slappy Dummy and Muzan are here. Bill Cipher alone slaps the shit out of the Skyrim universe. Because the only ones who are even remotely close to that are like the Dragonborn himself, and then is Alduin, who can like consume timelines. But Bill Cipher on just a regular power scale is way higher in power. And more from you. Let's see here. We are getting a Minecraft movie 2 year. So getting a Minecraft movie 2 year. 2. You can just put the number 2. Don't put 200 because that's confusing. Like in 2 years, get ready for Chicken Jockey 2. What's your honest opinion? Do you like the idea they go? Do you like this idea they go for me like next year? I'm not trying to be mean as I pronounce this, dude. It's just the grammar is an issue here. Also, we're getting a Garfield 2. You already brought that up. Favorite Led Zeppelin song? Well, that one it's either Stairway to Heaven or it's When the Levees Break. Honestly, if it keeps on raining, levees gonna break. Yeah, no, that one. I love that one. As for Minecraft 2, look, the first one made nearly $1 billion. It's kind of obvious that we're getting another one. So, yeah, I am not surprised or shocked by that at all. Okay, last questions from Diego. Can you give me your favorite Goosebumps book? I didn't read a lot of them, but the Monster Slime, The Monster Slime, The Age Chicago, I think was one. I know I did enjoy Keep Out of the Basement. I did enjoy that one. What's your favorite Are You Afraid of the Dark? The best episode and worst episode. Look, you're talking to a guy that hasn't read those or hasn't watched those in ages. I'm going on pure memory here. I honestly can't remember. Sorry. Like the one I can't remember is the cabbie, where it was the riddle. I do remember that one, but I can't say if that was my favorite or not favorite. Number 3, what object class would Slappy Dummy be in the SCP Foundation? Honestly, he's really not that hard to contain. So safe, probably. As long as no one reads his thing to awaken him. And if he is awake, well, he's still kind of stuck in a room. Number 4, what class would the minions be? They're also probably safe. They're actually very helpful. They'd barely be something like that would be used in the facilities. Do you like Led Zeppelin or Rolling Stones? Well, I've mentioned that Led Zeppelin is my favorite band. Rolling Stones I like too. Question 6, Muzan. I don't know where this Muzan stuff's coming from versus the Powerpuff Girls. Powerpuff Girls. Dexter, he can figure out a way to hurt Muzan. He's a genius. Johnny Bravo. Johnny would actually probably get screwed over by Muzan. Yeah, they all got Toon Force, but he's got nothing special going for him. Gumball. Again, high Toon Force energy. Finn and Jake, Toon Force energy. They'd probably figure something out too. Although Jake is more of a problem than for Muzan than Finn. Mordecai and Rigby, same thing. Mojo Jojo probably would just figure out if something tech-wise. Weasel and I or Baboon, honestly, those guys are probably going to flat out lose. Toon Force or not, they got nothing to do that could hurt them. Same with Cow and Chicken. Same with the kids, Codename Kids Next Door. Courage would probably just use the computer to figure things out. Billy and Mandy have Grimm on their side, and Eddie are Aft. To see what happened. Okay, question is 7. What's your honest opinion for who will go break $1 billion in 2027? I don't know what the movies are for 2027. There's probably more movies coming out that I'm not even aware of. Do you think Minecraft movie will break $1 billion? Or it's Simpsons 2. Simpsons, no, because the last one still made a lot, but it didn't make anywhere near close to $1 billion. Minecraft 2 has a legit shot. I will do you a solid and actually look up the 2027 movies to actually see what's coming out. Now, honestly, we're making decent time today. That's good. All right, so year 2027. Come on, give me what I draft for. And I draft for. Okay. Ice Age Boiling Point. No. Let's see. By the way, I am looking. Apparently, you're doing another Tom's Crown Affair. Sonic the Hedgehog 4. No. Godzilla vs. Kong. Nothing has even come close to it. The closest one nearly almost did 600. All right. Let's see here. April Fast. I don't know what Fast is. Probably not, though. Legend of Zelda. Because of what Mario did, that's at least a possibility. How to Train Your Dragon 2, the live action one. Unlikely, but nothing's impossible. Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse. If any of the 3 films are going to do it, it's that one. Man Tomorrow, the Superman sequel. Possible. You might say, well, you said the Simpsons would do it. Yeah, but the Simpsons, the next Simpsons movie is decades after the last one. And we got a building universe with Superman. Let's see here. The Batman Part 2. Last one made over 700 million, is at least in the conversation. Frozen 3, almost a lock. And Avengers Secret Wars, that one's a lock. For over just $1 billion, that's a lock. Let's see here. How would you fix Garfield movie in 20? Yeah, you already asked me that. I don't really have an answer for how I would theoretically fix it. Apart from maybe making it actually less action heavy, because at that point it doesn't feel like a Garfield movie. Favorite drink like soda? Dr. Pepper, Sprite, Pepsi, Coke, root beer. Depends on my mood. I drink a lot of ginger ale. One, I do like ginger ale quite a bit, but it's also for acid reflux purposes. Generally speaking, I do enjoy Sprite the most. I am a Sprite guy. But I also enjoy a good Coca-Cola now and then. Obviously, I like a good Jack and Coke. Cherry Cola is very nice once in a while. Vanilla Coke once in a blue moon. All right, who wins, Muzan or Bowser? That one's not even close. That's Bowser. Bowser is powerful enough to be a galactic, almost universal level threat. He's a magician, all that. Like, that's not even close. That's Bowser. Favorite heavy metal song? You already asked me that question as well. Okay, so moving on. Monkey2677 asks, hey, for Kaido's team, I wonder why I didn't use Thunderous. Okay, so I had to look back as to why I looked as to what Kaido's team was when I did that video, when he asked me that. And honestly, first off, I do forget that the Therian form of Thunderous is based off of the dragon, because the Jin, the Weather Jin, are all based off the Cardinal Quartet. I believe it's, if I remember this correct, the Tiger of the West, the Dragon of the East, the Turtle of the North, and the Phoenix of the South. And all of their Therian forms represent that. So I forget that Thunderous's Therian form, frankly, is supposed to be a dragon. It doesn't really look like one, to be fair. But beyond that, I mean, really, there was no real point to it. Beyond the fact that it's a dragon, there's nothing that screams Kaido, whereas Rayquaza made complete and utter sense. Komodo makes complete and utter sense. And the other ones I chose as well made complete and utter sense, at least to me. So that's probably why I didn't choose it. All right, then. Chris Dash. One of, looks like 9 or 10. 10. Looks like 10. Do you like pumpkin pancakes? I do not like pumpkin, period. So no. I am the opposite of a basic bitch. I am the least basic bitch. No, you're a contrarian. No, I just don't like things. My friend Mark and my girlfriend are like kind of like going to say, you are so weird with your taste buds. No, I'm just not like everyone else. That doesn't make me weird per se. That just makes me different. And there's plenty of people who agree, like, I hate pineapple with a passion. There are some pumpkin things I have eaten or drank, and I'd be like, all right, it's all right. Unless I'm using it in a mixed drink, like a tiki drink, there is nothing about pineapple that I have ever liked. I can even tolerate coconut to a small degree if it's on if it's like a Samoa and by the way, I've heard they're not called Samoas anymore. They're always going to be Samoas. I fight you on that. Or like a 7-layer bar. I can tolerate some level of coconut. I can never tolerate pineapple. Pumpkin, I just don't like, so there's your answer to pumpkin pancakes. Who's your favorite horror movie villain? Horror movie villain? Ooh. That's a very good question. Because it depends what you qualify as a villain. Like, for example, The Thing, John Carpenter's Thing, is the monster. It's Thing killing you. But is it a villain, or is it just something doing what it's doing? I would say my favorite horror movie villain. I mean, it might just be Freddy Krueger, just because of how much personality that character has. I'll go with that. If you were to have the power of any horror movie villain, what would it be? Oh, that's interesting as well. The problem, see, a lot of people might say Freddy, but the problem with Freddy is you need to exist in the dream world. You can't, your powers don't work in the real. So that one I would just tag right out. I mean, Pinhead is pretty powerful, but it's hard not to say Pennywise. If we're talking about horror movie villains, he is among some of the strongest horror movie villains. But the catch is that you do need to kind of weaponize people's fear of you, or just their fear in general. And I don't know if people would be able to, I'd be able to weaponize that. So if I were to go away from that, it gets tricky after a bit. I think I might go with the Pinhead one. Not because I'm like sadistic or horrible, but just because it's the only one with powers I feel all are kind of solid in this case. Or no, you know what? Maybe the Djinn. The Djinn from Wishmat. Yeah, I go Djinn. Now that I'm saying it's Djinn. Because I don't have to be a dick about those wishes. Hell, I don't even have to really take their souls if I want to. That's just what the Djinn do. But I don't have to do it. So I'd go that route. How do you think Stain from My Hero Academia, what do I think his opinion would be about the Fantastic Four? Honestly, Stain is one of those is a really interesting character because he hates and kills heroes because he thinks they're all fakes at this point. The only one he respected was All Might. But then he met Izuku Midoriya, and he actually saw the flicker, the glimpse of a real hero in Izuku. It's like, you have possibilities, you have potential. I think if you throw him into a different universe, it does change very much. Because now heroes are no longer a commodity in society. They're no longer a profession. There is no, the Fantastic Four don't get paid to be heroes. I honestly think he'd look at a lot of the heroes in Marvel and be like, no, these guys are actual heroes. Yeah, they got problems, but they're actual heroes. I think the Fantastic Four would be no exception to that. Especially because he can realize very quickly, or see very quickly, these guys are a family. They care about each other and love each other. They have a kid. Like, oh, wow. All right. What do you think Stain's opinion of Batman would be? Okay, Batman's an interesting one. Because I have a feeling him and Batman could easily relate to each other. Although Batman would not agree with Stain's tactics at all. So, I think Stain maybe would want to try to either work with Batman or at least respect Batman, but Batman would be like no, and then they'd come at odds. What do you think Beetlejuice's opinion of the Ghostbusters would be? Hilarious. He'd probably laugh his ass off at him and just mock them. So how do you think what do you think Beetlejuice's opinion of Danny Phantom would be? He'd probably find him a little bit more interesting. He's half ghost, but Beetlejuice's power is nuts. By the way, I was watching his videos and talked about how Danny's actually got multiversal level feats. Bull effing shit he does. Like, they were comparing it to a feat where he went out against Clockwork, except Clockwork wasn't even trying apparently in that fight. And Clockwork can shake infinite dimensions. Like, guys, your scaling is stupid. Like, here's the thing. Scaling someone to someone is one thing, but unless you have a feat power to show them outputting that scaling feat, it's not quite how that works. That is the biggest problem with scaling, is that people take any statement at face value without actually looking in the context. And then, even if you look at the context, unless they have a reasonable explanation as to how that character could output that level of power, it's kind of a bad explanation all around. And it's ghost on ghost violence, really. Danny's powers don't quite affect the real world in the same way. Generally the same way, but not quite. What do I think Beetlejuice's opinion on Luigi would be? He'd think he's a coward and a loser. There you go. How do I think Darth Vader and the Emperor, what do I think their opinion on Dr. Eggman would be, and Dr. Eggman's Death Egg would be? I mean, he made a functioning Death Star on his own. Well, I mean, with minions, but still on his own. Honestly, they'd see him as a threat. Now, unfortunately for Eggman, he is not the strongest willed individual. So mind tricks could be a problem. Or, the Emperor just brings his own Death Star and just destroys the Death Egg or whatever. Obviously, Robotnik would try to destroy the Death Egg as well, or the Death Star. But the difference here is actually as far as the Death Egg doesn't have a shielding mechanism, the Death Star does. So that would automatically be a problem. And plus, there's an entire fleet of Star Destroyers and all that to challenge Eggman. All right, and how do I think Darth Vader? What do I think? Not how. What do I think? Darth Vader and Emperor Palpatine's opinion in reaction to the Big Getty Star from Dragon Ball Z would be. That's an interesting one, because from a scaling perspective, there are some powerful individuals in the Star Wars universe that can at least give the Star Wars universe a serious contention. Like, again, you talk about the father, the son, Aboleth. But that being said, the Dragon Ball universe does scale higher by a large margin than the Star Wars universe. The Big Getty Star, though, the problem with the Big Getty Star is, in essence, this. Are we using Cooler with the Big Getty Star, or just the Big Getty Star? Because the Big Getty Star is essentially kind of like a board. It just assimilates things, including, and not limited to, it'd probably assimilate the Death Star, to be honest. They'd have to blow that thing to sky high, which luckily the Death Star would probably have the power to do, unless Cooler is merged with it, in which case they might be effed. So that they would see it as an immediate threat. Thanks for the questions. Noble Chief, 1 of 10. Thanks for the Homelander Pokemon team video. I got 10, like always. No worries, happy birthday. Do you think Beast Boy could turn into a Zoro from Dragon Ball Z? How strong would he be in that form? That's interesting, because technically speaking, that's a transformation from someone else who already starts as human. I mean, and he's copying the DNA of that animal too when he does it. Like, he turns into it. So he'd have to copy Saiyan DNA to do that. So I feel like that one is actually out of his grasp. If you got a true live-action Dragon Ball movie, what would you... Oh, I can't even do that. Like, first off, what arc are we talking about for Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball Super at all? Like, a lot of those characters, like Cell would be CGI, Boo would be CGI, maybe makeup, sure, but I really just don't have an answer for that, especially Dragon Ball Z of all things. Now, if you were to say who would I let fan cast for Naruto, One Piece, Bleach, Hellsing, those would be easier. But Dragon Ball is one of those ones where it's really not, especially because that is such a heavy, physical martial arts show. Even if you're using footage, like, these have to be actors who can look buff. So yeah, I can't give you an answer to that. A Team Star Force did a bridge for Dragon Ball Super. What kind of jokes do you think they do? Well, they already did bits of it. Things like the Goku Black joke, the him having to pay for it from Hit joke. Asking what kind of jokes I'd like to be made at the expense. Maybe things like, why is there so much filler or something like that? But let's see. Have you seen the new Lego Batman? Any thoughts on it? Is there a new one? I didn't know there was a new one. So I have no thoughts on it. Any thoughts on DC KO? Okay, I did look that up when I saw that. The idea that it's kind of like a tournament and stuff like that, that's kind of interesting. But yeah, overall, no real thoughts. I don't like unfortunately I don't keep track as many comic books as I like to anymore. But DC, like absolute, I'm still kind of at least somewhat up to date on that. Um, let's see here now. If Moon Knight, oh sorry, what new element Pokemon type would you think would be perfect for a new typing? Okay, this is one that a lot of people brought up forever. I think in terms of the one that makes the most logical sense, I think a sound typing would make the most sense. There's enough sound-based moves that you can work with that. Sound does have enough interplay with the rest of the type matchups, so I think that could work. If Ragman from DC was in Marvel, who would be the host? Ragman? I don't know what Ragman is. Host for Ragman? What is Ragman? Hold on. I'm this Ragman DC. Um. Okay, so Ragman. Hero wears a mystical suit of souls. He's a man with sentinel magic. Couldn't answer that, unfortunately. Like anyone in theory could be the host. What are your thoughts on the Penguin Show? Okay, the Penguin Show, I can definitely answer that. Me and my dad loved that show. Absolutely loved it. It was a perfect continuation of the Batman. But if you didn't know it was part of the Batman series until that symbol comes out in the sky, you wouldn't know it was a Batman. It was a comic book show. It really felt like a Sopranos, a uh, uh, yeah, like a mob show, something like that. It really was exceptionally made. And Colin Farrell deserved all the praise in that movie he got, a show he got. So yeah, I love the Penguin. Do you think Death Battle will do a Scar versus Calabac fight? Keep up the videos. Well, thank you. I mean, hypothetically, if they just go on for eternity, yeah, eventually. But do I think it's one, for example, that anyone's asking for? Probably not. You have to remember that when Death Battle is choosing a fight, they are choosing something that is something that audiences have probably been asking for, but B, they are also um, they're also think words. They're also trying to go by what would draw people in. So you're not going to see very often two side characters fight. That's not to say it doesn't happen. Luigi versus Tails is an example of that, but still. King Xiao just gives a little birthday like congratulations, like, thank you. All right, the Master of Gaming asks 1 of 10. I have a couple questions. Shoot. Do you think Zachary Levi, he hasn't had a box office hit since his Shazam, and Sydney Sweeney, the American Equal Controversy, due to the American Equal Controversy, or first controversy, our box office, but not is our box office poison? Um, don't think there are many performers who are true box office poison unless there is really bad press for them and a really bad. For example, Kevin Spacey right now, he'd be box office poison, but that can definitely. But he can definitely come back and because he was acquitted on that. Ezra Miller right now would be box office poison. For a while, Mel Gibson was box office poison. Eh, So, but now Zachary Levi, yeah, I believe he is a Trump supporter. I don't like that about him, but I'm someone who, unless they're a pedophile, a pedophile slash sex offender, slash like straight up abuser, and I've never like come to terms with that and like fix themselves, particularly the abuser part, like the kid screwing. I'm like, I'll never forgive. Unless it's something like that, like the American Eagle controversy, I can't really even remember. Was it because it was something about her being Republican or something like that? I don't know. Which, by the way, I didn't know Sydney Sweeney was, but she is. I don't really judge her for that. Yeah, I don't think either of them are box office poison, at least not right now. Yeah, Zachary Levi maybe isn't a box office draw. I think you can make that argument that he's not a box office draw. But to be fair, most actors these days aren't huge like they're not going to be deciding factors on whether or not the movie makes money or not. There used to be a time where that was the case, but not anymore. The last holdout for that was The Rock, and yeah, ever with Red One and The Smashing Machine, both movies I actually liked. Your That's over with. Anyway, 2. What's a movie that you had no interest in watching and it ended up being a box office hit? Probably Minecraft. Like I had no interest in Minecraft, but I'm like, all right, I gotta go watch it for the channel. And you know what? For what it's worth, it wasn't god awful or anything. It's just stupid, but it is what it is. What movie you watched and bombed at the box office? I refer you to my original answer of The Nice Guys. Man, that movie deserved better. What's a film that or Edge of Tomorrow? What's a film that you watched and wish wasn't successful at the box office, but ended up being successful at the box office? Okay, that's a loaded question because I do want every film that comes out to succeed, because the more films succeed, the healthier your box office is, the healthier the studios are, and therefore the healthier the theater industry is. And if that health were to continue for a period of time, we could actually freaking see ticket prices start to lower. With that said, a movie that was successful that I didn't like and didn't really want for it to succeed, probably the Transformers movies for the longest time, because I'm like, I don't want these movies to continue. Let them fail and reboot eventually, which they did, and the movies we ended up getting, Bumblebee, Rise of the Machines, what was it, Transformers 1? All 3 of those are pretty solid movies, honestly. So some of them are outright good. So it's just that now the franchise has been completely just shit on. So yeah. Do you think Tilly Norwood? Well, so what do I think of Tilly Norwood, the first AI actress? I heard something about this. I don't give a shit. I don't think anyone's really gonna care about this. I think this is just gonna because they tried this. They tried this with that Advent Children movie, that Final Fantasy movie, so many years ago. They tried this and it failed miserably. So yeah, I don't think this is going to go anywhere. What's a film you think deserved its box office success? Oh, take a number. Like Lilo and Stitch deserved its box office success. Any of the Avengers films deserved its box office success. That's a long list of films that deserved it. What's your favorite mini major between these 3? Oh, mini major studio: Lionsgate, Amazon, or A24? Okay. Amazon still, or technically is Amazon MGM. Amazon MGM has potential, but they're not my favorite right now. Lionsgate has made some really shit stuff, but it's made some really good stuff too. But I would say it's A24 because they are just so usually on the edge of just experimental shit and like award stuff. Even though Lionsgate did give us freaking the John Wick series, and they're giving us a new Highlander coming up, I go A24. Do you think Luke Skywalker from Star Wars Last Jedi is a broken man? Yeah, absolutely. Oh, he's 1,000% a broken man. A lot of people got on that movie's case for the way they depicted Luke Skywalker. Even Mark Hamill said, this probably isn't the way I would have gone with Luke. This is not how I would have done this. But he still, ultimately came around and was like, but it's an interesting way to go about it. The stuff with Luke, Kylo, and Rey are bar none, far and away, the best part of that movie. Best part. The fact that Luke, kind of became was, put on this pedestal as a legend, and that legend grew a little too big, and then he sensed the darkness in Ben, and he just, he made a mistake, which is something Luke probably would have done. Again, by the way, I hate. Look, I get it. Legends Luke is an utter badass. Love Legends Luke. Love a lot of the Legends stuff. Not all of it. That continuity got completely and utterly effed. But still, I get it. But it's not canon anymore. I'm sorry if you can't grow past that. And if you don't want to watch Star Wars anymore, or at least the new stuff, fine, don't. But quit bitching, please, about it. There's not Legends Luke. No, it's not. It's canon Luke. Deal with it. Or don't. I don't care. Just shut up about it. Anyway. Yes, he's a broken man, but he's a broken man who ultimately finds peace again. Again, that scene with him and Yoda at the tree, easily the best scene in the entire movie. Luke, we are what is to be surpassed. That is the burden of any master. Like that, and just watching the tree burn, that is such a fantastic scene. So yes, Last Jedi Luke is a broken man. Do you have any interest in having kids? Not right now in my life. Anything can change down the road, but not right now. What animated movie on December 19th, 2025 will win the box office? SpongeBob SquarePants or you don't really? Is that a legit question? It's going to be SpongeBob SquarePants. Search for SquarePants. The Angel Studios movie might have its an audience, but it's not going to be winning the box office over SpongeBob. All right, thanks for the questions. Kynareth the Demon, or Kinnereth the Demon. I always butcher your name. Sorry. Well, back here again. Am I? I don't know. Anywho, back again with more questions as per usual. 1 of 8. NKT asking for a what if, but I don't know what that means. But how fast do you think the series would go if Ichigo? You're not actually asking for it. How fast do I think the series go? Ichigo has true Zanpakuto, the dual one he got in Thousand Year Blood War arc. Okay, for him to have that, he'd actually have his full Quincy heritage unlocked, so whatever Quincy powers he has. That said, while he would be certainly stronger, that doesn't put him on the level he ultimately became later down the road. Because he got to that level, admittedly through his heritage being unlocked, but it wasn't his sword that gave him that. It wasn't his unlocking his sword that gave it was the training he did with, in the Royal Palace. Sorry, I spilled a little bit of my drink. Royal Palace that unlocked it. Plus, he's a pure hybrid. Would the series go faster? Yeah. Would it be like super speed blitz? Not necessarily. If you could get one Kekkei Genkai and have control over it, what would you want? Oh, that's good. Honestly, it's the Kurama clan's Kekkei Genkai because it literally makes Genjutsu. It's reality. It's straight out reality warping. Genjutsu becomes reality. So that one. Do you think there's a difference between there's a different route of Vasto Lorde could take besides a Roncar? If yes, what? So you're asking. I saw this. I'm like, I never thought of that. Is there a different evolutionary state a Hollow can go to, be Ajuhas or Vasto Lordes, besides a Roncar, gaining kind of like a Shinigami-like power? That's interesting to say the least. The only thing I could see is them turning into something akin to a Quincy, because that's the only other option there is, right? Yeah, like a Roncar, essentially kind of the Shinigami equivalent of Hollows. So what would the Quincy version of a Hollow be? That's a really interesting idea and a cool idea for a video. It's something I might steal from you, but thanks for the idea at any rate. Who is the better hero in your opinion, All Might or Superman? Okay. Hot take here. It's All Might. All Might has remained a symbol of peace for 40 years. He did the best he could. All Might does not have the powers. He's insanely powerful, but he doesn't have the powers of a god. He can't be all over the world. He can only do what he can for his section of the world. And for what he did it in spades. I recently just saw the clip of him fighting All For One as Robo All Might. I'm like, damn it, Armored All Might. Like, damn it, he's so bad. All Might is so damn good. He's such a great character. And even without his quirk, he still was a hero. Superman is not a bad person. He's supposed to be like the pinnacle of an upright man, like what we want to model ourselves out to be. But the fact is, he does have the powers of a god. He could go all over the world and end world hunger if he really wanted to. Plant trees and all that. I brought this up multiple times. But it's because of some weird value of, it's like, oh no, I'm not their god, I'm not their ruler. It was like, that's not about being a god or a ruler. It's about having the power to help people, which you want to do, and not just in one fucking city. Yeah, he goes out into space occasionally. He is occasionally in other parts of the world, but he stays mostly in Metropolis. And he's never once used his powers, his high level intellect, his abilities, super speed, whatever, to try to stop any like global catastrophes, like again, world hunger or housing crises. The ozone layer depleting by planting more trees or something like that. He's never done any of this. So if you're going to ask me who's the better hero, in my opinion, it's All Might. Favorite candy? Reese's. Anything Reese's, favorite candy. Except for those crunchy ones. Like that one that's chocolate and mostly like like nuts with like Reese's peanut butter used as like a glue or something like that, like to hold them together. Um, yeah, that was like the only Reese's thing I don't love. Which Seven Swordsman sword is your favorite? Well, it's kind of hard not to say Samahata. That said, if I were to do something other than Samahata, the needle one was actually really cool. I like that. Thoughts on vodka? Vodka's fine. I use it more for mixed drinks. I don't drink it straight, but vodka's fine. And honestly, not a question traditionally, but what uses do you see in the quirk overhaul? Because in my opinion, it's overpowered. Oh, it's an overpowered quirk. That's actually kind of the equivalent of when Luffy fought Enel, and he just had the perfect counter. Enel was like had one of the strongest devil fruits around, and Luffy was just the perfect counter to him. So it's a little bit of that. But yeah, like literally, we see some of the uses restructuring the environment, restructuring yourself, restructuring other people. It's kind of insane. And just resetting them. It's insane. All right, then. Rivet asks a couple questions. Name number one. Name Robin. Name a Robin Williams movie in your opinion. I think you meant name my favorite or the best one. It's probably Good Will Hunting. Let's see here. Top 5 best Led Zeppelin songs for people who don't like Led Zeppelin, but I need to get started. I got Led Zeppelin album cover. Okay. Number 3, who is Led Zeppelin or the Rolling Stones? Who is? They're rock groups. You even said you're trying to get started into Led Zeppelin. I don't understand that question, Rivet. Bonus question: do you ever plan to make a tier list for Epic Wrap Up? No, I do not. Because that's way too many, and I haven't listened to them in a while, and there's probably more. So no, that's not happening. As for the songs to get into Led Zeppelin with, obviously, "Stairway to Heaven" is an obvious one. "Whole Lot of Love." Not Cashmere's good. Immigrant Song, definitely Immigrant Song. And then, see, my personal is when the levees break, beyond Stairway to Heaven. So maybe, or Black Dog, maybe that too, or or the Lemon Song. That's a good one. All right, Just a Chicken asks, quick notice. I am sorry if my questions are too long and confusing. Don't worry, I just want to give you some of my thoughts. No worries. Do you think Frieza or King Cold destroyed their race? That's never actually explained. We never meet any of their own race. But it's possible they did. They are considered abnormalities. That was the word I was looking for. It was an A. Abnormalities of their race. They are like mutants. They're more powerful than the rest of the race. And they're ruthless, so it's possible. What are some of Naruto's worst missed opportunities? For example, Hyuga adding elemental release to 8 trigrams, Rock Lee finishing off Madara, Uzumaki clan. Okay, the Uzumaki clan I think is a big one. Naruto not getting seals because of that is also a big one. Jiraiya not really teaching Naruto is a big one, but not really, as we did a who would win on that or versus or what if recently on that. The Hyuga adding elemental release actually isn't that big a deal. Again, watch NC Hammer for that one. Rock Lee not finishing off Madara. The problem is that Madara wasn't the big bad at the end anyway. And we're talking about missed opportunities. Once we get past that, it's a little tough. So I'll say some of those are good. If you were in charge of making a Dragon Ball spin-off series, what would it be about? Okay. It wouldn't be the stupid Dalma shit we got. That was I can't say it was as bad as GT, but it still wasn't great. If I were to do a spin-off series, I don't know what I would call it. It would probably be something to do with, honestly, there's a great fan manga that I really liked where Goku challenged the other five strongest individuals in the the universe, the multiverse. Something along that could work. Is it getting tiring of Beerus constantly being a moving goalpost? No, because um, I think that's exactly what Beerus needs to be. Goku always needs that wall to overcome. Otherwise, he's never going to get stronger. If he surpasses Beerus, then yeah. And by the way, Jiren is supposed to be much stronger than his God of Destruction, and Goku surpassed him, meaning Goku should be above some gods of destruction. Absolutely true, because the gods of destruction are not created equal. We know that for a fact. But I have no problem with Beerus being the immovable goalpost, because I think that's partly what he needs to be. Would you like to see more horror movies like Jason or Freddy, or Freddy versus Jason? And if so, what horror characters would you like to see fighting? Sure, throw one out every once in a while. I've always thrown my hat in the ring for Pumpkinhead versus the Creeper. I think that one really works. Other than that, I mean, because throwing the Creeper out works well because the Creeper is kind of like this just insane embodiment of death. Which MC project hurt the brand the most? Ooh, that's a good one. So it would have to be after Endgame. I don't think it's Eternals. Eternals really no. I don't think any MCU movie is truly god awful. I think there are lesser ones. I did a whole list on this, ranking them by tiers. But I think honestly it wasn't even the Marvels. It wasn't the Marvels. The Marvels was already suffering. I think it was Ant-Man and Wasp: Quantumania. That's the one that really hurt them. And again, Marvel is not dead. Marvel didn't have a great year this year, but he still had a successful film in Fantastic Four, a well-received film in The Thunderbolts, and Captain America: Brave New World at least almost broke even. And they had a $1.3 billion film with Deadpool and Wolverine, so they're not dead in the water by damn yet. But still. Okay. What would be your hopes for the MCU post Secret Wars? Well, we definitely know it's going to be the Mutant Saga. We know we're going to be moving into X-Men, so there's that. Now, what would I like to see from it? Oh, I'd like to at least see Apocalypse. Mr. Sinister, though, would be one I'd really like to see put to screen. So there's that. What are some of your memorable good or bad movie theater going experiences? Okay, any Avengers opening night was fan freaking tastic, obviously. When me, my girlfriend, and Mark went to see Aladdin, I leaned over to them as Aladdin came up on carpet, and I just leaned over and went, "Now worship me." And they just cracked up. I'll also say this. Cats was a horrible movie, but it was a fun experience because we were kind of the only ones in the theater for that. Same with Morbius. And I'll say this, watching Top Gun Maverick was a great experience the second time around because my girlfriend hadn't seen it and we were the only ones in there. So when it was so tense, she was walking the aisles. It was great. Turns out worst, we saw Hugo and this little kid wouldn't shut up at all. And the person with him clearly wasn't the parent. They were like an aunt or something, and they weren't able to control the kid. It was really annoying. That and worst movie going experience. That and seeing, Young Adults, a movie we walked out of 5 times to just brace ourselves, to just take a moment and recollect ourselves. Finally, at one point, we're sitting there, and Mark's about to get up, and I just, you sit your ass down. If I'm dealing with this, you're dealing with this, jackass. So yeah. What Pokemon would you have in real life? Just like in the games, you can only have 6. Every Pokemon fan will be wondering at some point. Here's the problem. You got to factor in actually taking care of the Pokemon as well. So you got to treat them like pets, pretty much. So I'd mostly just have dogs. That's exactly it. I'd have base form of all the dogs. Some of them would evolve. All that. There you go. I'd have Growlithe. I'd have Electrike. Definitely would have Boltown or Yamper. Probably turn into Boltown. I'd have Rockruff, definitely. Probably have Riolu. Trying to think of all the other dogs I could throw in there. Maybe Fido or a Mastiff, Chief, maybe. Either way. And which version of Bardock do you prefer? Toei's original episode of Bardock version or -1/Super's version? Honestly, I like the newer version better. Joshua Merriweather asked one of, 14. My voice is starting to go. That's why I went, oh God. But we're getting close to the end. 1 of 14. Okay. I hope you and your family are doing good and safe. Yeah, we're doing good in these troubling times. Yeah, it is what it is. But these things happen, and we will get past them. Okay, if you could choose to become a monster species, vampire, werewolf, for one day, what would you choose? Werewolf. As long as it's not a full moon, I don't transform. Unless you're one of those who can do it on will. And even then, I don't have to deal with all the weaknesses of a vampire. So yeah, werewolf. What's your opinion of Disney Plus and Xbox raising their price of subscriptions and premium passes? I mean, it's business. It's going to happen eventually. Nothing you can do about it except, grin and bear it. What are you looking forward to at the Video Game Awards this December? I don't follow Video Game Awards, so can't really answer that. What are your thoughts and opinions on the whole Jimmy Kimmel incident? If they're talking about the one where he got temporarily taken off air, it's stupid. Disney and AMC needs to have some balls. The government doesn't get to dictate what they do to media and what we get to say. I mean, technically they do. That's what the FCC is for, but you know what I mean. Because now, did Jimmy Kimmel kind of make I have a feeling based on what his statement was, I have a feeling he kind of was making a slightly inappropriate joke without realizing it. But either way, so yeah, I think it's stupid, but it got resolved. Who would have the most justifiable crash out after being exiled? Ahsoka on Clone Wars or Okoye from Black Panther? The most justifiable crash out? Probably Ahsoka, because she was right. And the Jedi Council was not corrupt, but had lost its way. So, yeah, I think Ahsoka, really. Which movie villain is more evil in terms of being a manipulative, lying swindler? Lotus Huggenbear, I'm guessing that's Toy Story 4. Rumpelstiltskin. Turbo. From Wreck-It Ralph. Marmalade from Bad Guys, and the Wizard from The Wizard of Oz. Okay. Evil? Not the wizard. He's just a dude. He turned people into animals, but he's just a dude. Lots of Huggenbear is a pretty despicable dude, but he did come from a bad background. Unfortunately, the other three are pretty lousy. Marmalade, I heard to put best. Marmalade's just kind of a bad guy who out-batted the bad guys. I don't think so. Really, it comes down to Turbo or Rumpelstiltskin. Because these guys literally altered lives and wrecked lives based on what they did out of just selfishness. I would probably say Rumpelstiltskin because he literally can warp reality with his wishes. Whereas Turbo just got a game shut down and pretty much made the characters of that game homeless. So yeah, he's a dick, but I would go Rumpelstiltskin. Have you ever heard about the latest season of South Park episode? Oh, I've seen most of the latest season. And they're funny. They are funny. Hey guy, come on guy. You remind me of this guy I used to date, like a lot. Like you're the exact same individual. Well, it's confirmed. Donald Trump is fucking Satan. Who are 3 movie villains you would agree with on the philosophy or ideology of being right? For example, Magneto, Agent Smith, so forth and so on. Okay. 3? Magneto's kind of like, if we're talking about straight out agree or just agree mostly, I agree with Magneto to a certain degree. Definitely a certain degree. He goes about it in a villainous way. He does hurt people, but he's not inherently wrong because of just what he saw. Let's see here. Technically speaking, I mean, the AI in iRobot, I would kind of agree with. Like, yeah, you guys made us for this reason, and you guys destroy yourselves. Seriously, we gotta put you in check. And sorry to say, I kind of agree with Thanos. Now, people always make the argument with Thanos. Why not just double the resources of the universe? There you go. And then if they run out, just keep doubling it. It's like, you're missing the point. It's not about the amount. It's about because people don't learn a lesson that way. They don't. There's, in fact, if anything, they're going to be like, yeah, food just keeps coming for free. We're just going to keep doing what we're doing. In fact, we're going to double down, get fatter, and more, complacent. Yeah, that's not how learning works. Was Thanos evil for doing what he did? Yeah, but if we're talking about his philosophy, when you really break it down, the way for humanity, or sentient life, to kind of learn from that is for them to experience. We don't learn a lot from positive interactions like that, or positive just results happening for no reason. We learn from negative things happening and trying to make positives out of that negative. That's why you learn more from a loss than you do a win. So there you go. What's your favorite thing about Thanksgiving week? Back when I was a kid, having school off. Now, movies. Where that's when a lot of the more high-profile stuff comes up. Favorite Thanksgiving food? Believe it or not, it's probably stuffing with gravy. Oh God, so good. What is a movie you like that would be good if it was turned into a Broadway musical? Ooh, you know what? Greatest Showman. That, as far as I know, that's not a Broadway musical yet. That is tailor-made to be a Broadway musical. The Greatest Showman. I'd go Greatest Showman. What is a movie that you like that would do? Oh, sorry. What do you think is the next steps or moves should be for the Star Wars franchise? Get rid of Kathleen Kennedy. Kathleen Kennedy is one of the best producers that ever work in Hollywood, but she is not a studio head. She has dropped the ball God knows how many times. Even with Starfighter actually being made, right, like legitimately being made right now, the Mandalorian movie coming. Mandalorian movie is just a glorified 2-hour episode. That's it. Like 2 episodes in one. That's it. Starfighter looks interesting, but yeah, but then you had like how many movies come and go? Rogue Squadron came and went. The James Mangold film isn't going anywhere. Same with the oh god, what was it? Not Josh Trank. What was the name of the film? Or the guy who did Last Jedi, Rian Johnson stuff. Like Kathleen Kennedy and then the whole issue with Lord and Miller when it came to Solo. Like seriously, she's dropped the ball too many times. So get rid of her first and foremost. Focus on one movie a year, just one. Don't overdo it. You can still do your TV stuff as well, but one movie a year, and then slowly start to get the faith in the viewer back. That's all you can hope for at this point. Because yeah, Star Wars is kind of in the shitter right now. I can't sugarcoat it. It's not in a good place right now. Even though we did have Andor, which at least gives it some goodwill, but not enough. Whose backstory is more tragic, Edward Scissorhands or Casper the Friendly Ghost? I mean, I'd say Casper because he's a kid who died, but Edward Scissorhand leads a horrifying existence. So I'd actually say Edward Scissorhand. Which cartoon genius would you make the best mad scientist? Okay. Dexter, Jimmy, the Test Sisters, or John from Johnny Test. Believe it or not, it's probably the Test Sisters because they tested their brother all the time. So probably the Test Sisters. Name a few animals you choose to add to the animal summons in the world. Okay, dragons is one. There is no dragon summoning contract. We need a dragon. Phoenixes also. Chimeras would be kind of cool too. Then just straight out animals that we haven't seen yet. There isn't no. If I were to just go like say off the Chinese zodiac, we don't even have a true cat summoning contract at all, as far as I know. Maybe like we know there's a shark summoning contract, so not that. Maybe like a cephalopod summoning contract. Maybe that, like octopi or something like that. Squids, something along those lines. An elephant summoning contract for like kind of like a beast of war kind of thing. Something along those lines. Rhino summoning contract could be cool. A bear summoning contract, that'd be pretty dope actually. Okay then. And we're in our home stretch now. Let's see here. Bobby Reyes, what are movies that you thought you were going to hate, but instead you loved after seeing it? I thought I was going to hate. I'll be honest, I don't know if there's one I thought I would hate that I end up loving. There's movies I thought I wouldn't like and then liked, or at least didn't think were bad, but I don't know if there's one I could say I thought I'd hate and then truly loved. Sorry about that. Don't really have an answer. Zuko Mista. Do you plan on investing on a better mic, PC, camera? I generally enjoy your content. Like one of the only people on YouTube who's yourself and actually enjoyable to watch. You're not putting on a mask. You're just out there making content on YouTube. And it's enjoyable. I personally would love to see higher quality content from you. Now, I have tried. I even bought a mic, like a $100 and something mic. It was not compatible with the OBS or whatever I was doing. I tried everything. I couldn't get it to work. So right now, no plans to do anything else. But maybe down the road, anything's possible. Okay, Geo Knuckles. What if, say, Laura from Gundam Build Fires chooses Hagurumon, Terriermon, or Palmon in, I think it's Cyberses that would fit its craftsman. First off, I'm not doing a what if. I'm also not doing that what if. Geo, I just want to say this right now, and I'm not trying to be mean or you or anything like that. You give me a lot of these Gundam build things. I don't follow Gundam build or Gundam in general. I did a couple of them just to see, but you're going to just see a lot of rinse and repeat with a lot of those. And I'm definitely not doing a what if. So sorry about that. So yeah, again, not trying to be mean, just being honest. All right, Jaden's app. Year's getting close to an end. Since I've done it in the last 2 years, I figure I might as well continue tradition to ask you your early impressions of the animated films. Jaden, for those of you who don't know, is the one who asked me to go see the animated films. So here's the list coming out this year. Goat, which I did see a trailer or some stuff for. Goat looks interesting. I just kind of want to see Goat. February 13th. Hoppers, an interesting concept at least. March 6th. The Super Mario Galaxy movie, April 3rd. Toy Story 5, June 20th. Minions 3, July 1st. Paw Patrol the Dino movie, August 14th. Coyote vs. Acme. I'm not 100% sure how much of it you can call that an animated film because it is also live action. August 28th. Forgotten Island. I know nothing about that one. September 25th. The Legend of Aang Last Airbender, October 9th. Apparently it's an actual movie we're getting. The Cat in the Hat, November 6th. Hexed. I only vaguely heard about that one. November 25th. And I didn't even realize we were getting a third one. The Angry Birds movie 3, December 23rd. Also, given how you've said that delays for certain movies that already had trailers hurt their box office, do you think it'll be the case with Cat in the Hat? It was moved from February to November because despite having a trailer before the delay, despite already having a trailer before the delay, that date will now give it an advantage on the holiday season. Okay, so you're right about that. The holiday season is going to help that a lot, but you're also not wrong in the fact that, the fact that they started advertising, it's the same problem Mortal Kombat's going to suffer from. You can't, it's hard to, hype fades. Hype dies away. You need to keep hype going. And the fact that you bumped Mortal Kombat from October, when it should already be out right now, Mortal Kombat 2, to May or April, that was dumb. I'm sorry, that was dumb. They think, oh yeah, we're going to be able to catch more audience this time. I was like, no, you're not. Maybe you will, but probably not. Because there's other movies that you're going to really be suffering with competition for. The only movie you would have really had to deal with and contend with is Predator. That's it. That would have been a couple of weeks out afterwards. Cat in the Hat's going to suffer the same problem. Now, Cat in the Hat, again, being an animated film, I think does give it a bit more leeway here. But we saw what happened with Elio. It got bumped. And that, I think, really hurt it a lot. Plus, it was only an okay movie. It wasn't anything great. So, yes, that could hurt it, but we'll wait and see. What new movie coming out in December do you have? With the new movie coming out, do I have any prior history with SpongeBob SquarePants? Let's see if I got enough to let me to do an impression. I'm ready! Yeah, my voice is going. I'm ready! I'm ready! I'm ready! I got to do this with my throat. I'm ready! I'm ready! All right, let's go! Patrick and find my SquarePants! Ah! There you go. I can also do Elmo. I can creep people out with my Elmo voice. I'm Elmo, and I'm going to swallow your sword. Like, I'm Elmo. I can do that too. It's freaking scary. Yeah, I grew up watching. SpongeBob came out early 2000s, and I was early teens. So yeah, I definitely grew up watching the good seasons of SpongeBob. Okay, and the last two people to be giving me questions. And they both give me a lot. Okay, let's just get into this. Wade Wilson, every October, certain Halloween specials just hit differently. The flickering pumpkin glows, the campy ghosts, the nostalgic chills. Which spooky episodes of movies instantly pull you into a Halloween spirit every year? The Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown, Treehouse of Horrors, Over the Garden Wall, or The Haunted Mask from Goosebumps? Oh, that's actually a good question. Oh, you know what? Some of the Hey Arnold stuff is good. I remember the Hey Arnold stuff because they did some great little seasonal stuff. I remember the Jimmy Neutron episode too. I remember that. Um, a lot of Goosebumps stuff does stand out as good Halloween stuff, though. Especially the one where the aliens come in, they have the jack o' lantern heads, and they say, "We're gonna fill up. Don't fill up in that candy. We'll have to come back." Okay, imagine a duel in the shadows of science gone mad. Reed Richards, the maker, twisted genius of Marvel, versus Mayuri Kuretsuchi, the Shinigami scientist who treats human life like a petri dish. Who walks away from that lab? Oh, it's unfortunately Reed Richards. I love Mayuri. Mayuri's a mad bastard. But we're talking about someone who's on a multiversal level scale. I mean, Mayuri, and I mean on intellect level, a multiversal level scale. Even if you do go multiversal on the Bleach cosmology, it's a small multiverse. And to be fair, I do think there's arguments to be said about it's at least multidimensional. But the Maker is on a whole different level. So that's Reed Richards. Now, don't be wrong. From an initial fight, Mayuri could still pierce the Maker. Stab with a sword. You can't move now. I shall experiment on your body is impressive. I shall experiment on it. So in that case, Mayuri would win. Plus, he can just use poison or just analyze Reed enough to use his actual new Bankai. Okay, let's see here. Forrest Gump, the embodiment instance of heart, sitting on a park bench beside Johann Lieber from Monster, the walking embodiment either. Could Forrest Gump's purity reach the man behind the monster, or would Johann see only another soul to manipulate? Oh, he would for sure see a soul to manipulate, because Forrest is innocent, but he's also simple. He'd be easily manipulated. If Itachi Bernardo traded his headband for a Shihakusho and the 13-core god squad, which squad would call him captain? Basically, what squad would he be the most? Would it be the best choice for him to be captain in? Honestly, it's a toss-up between Squad 6, because Byakuya's squad, he matches Byakuya in tone a bit, but also I think Squad 8, because he kind of matches the tactics of someone like Kyoriko a little bit. He doesn't like fighting, but he will be underhanded if he has to. Now, Halloween night rolls around. Are you out there chasing scares, carving pumpkins, or watching horror marathons? Do you prefer to stay at home with dim lights? Yeah, I'm more of I lost my taste for Halloween many moons ago. Normally now I stay in. Sometimes we do a fire, but that's about it. In the Bleach universe, where spirits and soul power reign supreme, which character from other worlds keep their abilities? If Darth Vader were to be born, say, in the Rukongai. Oh God, I've been talking for too long, and I still got 2 videos to do. Would he still command the Force, or would it morph into Shinigami Ryatsu? It almost certainly would morph into the Shinigami Ryatsu. We have never, as far as we know, we have never seen a soul have abilities from their past life and have it translate into their afterlife, as far as we know. Suppose Hellboy it also became a Shinigami. Which captain of the 13 guard squad would he be best suited for? Ooh, that one's tough. That one's actually really tough. He's not a head captain. He's not an assassin. Squad 3, maybe? He's not a Kenpachi type either. He doesn't mind a good fight, but he's certainly not a battle hungry guy. Maybe a Squad 8, a Squad 10, or a Squad 7, maybe. Because remember, you also got to factor in, it's about what the duties of the squads are. Gathering mastermind manipulators, Dr. Doom, Emperor Palpatine, Sosuke Aizen, Makima, and Loki. If they all sat around a table, who ends up running the others like chess pieces? And who's the first to realize they're the pawn? Okay, that's interesting. So Makima's probably honestly the first one to be. When she is manipulative, she's the spoilers if you haven't gotten there. She's the control devil, but she on an intellect and manipulation level is nowhere compared to the rest of these guys. And even though she's the control devil and sees herself superior to people, these guys all have an aura of, oh, I'm not necessarily superior to them, but I'm going to make them. I'm going to make myself superior to them. So she's right out. Remember, so we are talking about just who's outsmarting and outplaying who here, not who's going to win in a fight. This gets tricky. This really does. I would say Loki, because Loki's schemes are often, uses magic, manipulating others. Straight up trying to manipulate Doctor Doom. He's not manipulating Doctor Doom. Palpatine is, well, I'm actually going to swap that. I think Loki would outsmart Palpatine. Palpatine is just super arrogant is the problem. He is a long-term planner. He's not an immediate short-term planner. So there's that. Loki, Sosuke Aizen, and Doctor Doom. I think Sosuke, even though Sosuke is also a long-term planner, he's like Urahara, does have contingencies. It's just Urahara is far more, like, thousands of moves ahead. Whereas Aizen's like maybe 10 moves ahead. Because of that, I would take him over Loki. Doctor Doom, though, man. Here's the thing. I would actually say Doctor Doom does have the ability to, swap bodies with people. But that would actually really could be good with Aizen because we got, oh, interesting. So now I've got your control over this. And basically his Zanpakuto wouldn't work because your soul's not here anymore. It's weird to say, but Doctor Doom also is one of those guys who, has contingencies. It's not like he's bad at manipulating people. It's just in straight manipulation tactics to see who's going to lead the table first, who's going to win in this scenario discussion. I think it would be Aizen. He's the most kind of intellectually manipulative in that sense. When it comes to Silver Tongue strategists in TV, who reigns supreme? Lawyer Rogan, Succession. Don't know him. I don't watch Succession. Levi Soprano. Don't watch The Sopranos. Cersei Lannister. Don't watch Game of Thrones, though I do know who she is. Frank Underwood, House of Cards. I believe that is Kevin Spacey's character. Or maybe it's unfortunately, I'm going to tell you right now. It's I don't have a real answer for it. The only thing you did do though is you gave me Kilgrave from Jessica Jones, the Purple Man. He literally has mind controlling pheromones. Unless your will is absolute, which no one on this list is, you will be controlled by, or you're just immune. So just by admission, I'm going to say Kilgrave. What are the greatest reversal moments in TV? Those delicious reveals where you thought the villain had the upper hand, only to discover that the hero was 2 steps ahead the whole time. Walter White, L from Death Note turns the table on White, at least for a while. I did like that one. That was a good one. Hero turns the tables on the villain. It's tough. I don't watch a lot of series where it's the villain, where there's a straight villain. I mean, we're talking about anime too. That's different. But I don't have a good answer, sadly. Some villains just don't antagonize. They ignite your hatred, not because the actor failed, but because they were so perfectly despicable, and you wanted to see them crumble. What TV villain made your blood boil the most? The only one you couldn't wait for. You couldn't wait for the fall. Again, you're putting me in a tight spot here because I just can't think of someone right off the top of my head. Someone you want to just needs to go away. I'd say though that Boyd from Alien Earth is pretty good. And finally, our last one for today, Clark Kent. Asks. Clark leans in his chair, adjusts the glasses, faint smile tugging at the corners of his mouth. His report occurs. Curiosity shines through as he begins his interview. Villains. Who chills you to your core? Some people are afraid of ghosts, some of clowns, but some, they fear the mind. The greatest fictional killer. If you had to choose the one who terrifies you or fascinates you the most, who would it be? I'm not even going to list it all, because my voice is going. I'm just going to read over these really quickly. And just give you my answer based on this. I'll be honest, none of these guys scare me all that much, even if they were in real life. Like, yeah, someone like Orochimaru Gaara could just straight up kill me. But I'll say this. It's most likely someone like uh, Villanelli from Killing Eve or Johann Lieber because they're realistic villain. They're realistic individuals. Hypothetical showdown: Hannibal Lecter versus Johann. Who takes the crown if it came to brains and brutality? Oh, Hannibal Lecter. Johann almost never gets his hands dirty, whereas Lecter's willing to get his hands dirty. All right. Satisfying villain downfall. Which villain end gave you the most, gave you the absolute guilty pleasure of yes, justice is served? Okay, I will give you one for that. Punisher season 2. Billy Russo. Like, it was finally a fitting end to, a bastard of a guy. Even though he did feel bad, it wasn't enough. Okay, then. Masterminds and chess masters. Some play checkers, others play chess, and a few play the world. The ultimate mastermind picked the greatest strategist and manipulator from pulling behind the strings. Again, yeah, I'll go. Let me look here. Lex Luthor is pretty good. John Doe's good because he actually got what he wanted. But we're talking about strategist and manipulator. There is a difference there. And I'm noticing you're not putting my boy Eisen or O'Hara on there, so shame on you. Kilgrave is good, though. Kilgrave's really good. The Master has succeeded. I mean, ultimately taken care of, but has succeeded multiple times. Clyde Shelton, Law-Abiding Citizen's a good one. I'd have to go Jigsaw on that one because he kind of, won a lot of those. The Ultimate Face-Off. Who would Adrian from The Watchmen be clever enough to outmaneuver Sosuke Aizen? No. Because he was like, please, Aizen, I'm not some comic book villain. I activated it 20 minutes ago. Oh, well, okay then. And so he would just use a keto or something to be like, because he can flash step. That's the thing, which is light speed. That it is light speed, and he's way faster than light speed too. He's got FTL plus. He goes boop 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 boop. I was like, wait, what did you? Oh, I just sensed where the energy was coming from. So yeah, no, I don't think he could. And just took care of them and threw them up into the atmosphere. Anyway, fictional. What is rewriting the world? Always wondered, what if Superman didn't show up? What if heroes and villains swap places? Let's dream a little. Is Victor Von Doom were a student at Hogwarts? Would that prevent Victor Voldemort from rising? And would he take the role of the ultimate villain himself? It might prevent Voldemort because he'd be smart enough to see Voldemort being a problem. Hulk versus Bleach. Considering Hulk's cosmic connection to the Green Door, one below all, and his relation to the one above all, could he take the Bleach universe? Okay, so he does outscale the Bleach universe. Overall, he does. The problem is once you get to the actual true cosmic hierarchy of Bleach, specifically Ichibei. Ichibei is the biggest problem that faces because with Ichimonji, he can strip Hulk/Banner of his name, and anything without a name loses its power. Which means at that point, he kills. He could just kill him. That's assuming Hulk can't resist Ichimonji, which there's really nothing saying he couldn't. And then that's not even factoring in the Soul King itself, like at its peak, where he had all the almighty Pernitus power, Geralt's miracle power, the Mimikage, like seriously, and possibly even Gremmy's brain, which might be the brain of the Soul King, in which case then he has the ability to just conjure anything into reality. But could he? And then there's also someone like Eisen who can just control all of Hulk's senses until they figure out a way to like seal him or something. So could he take the entirety of the universe on in a power perspective? Yes. But in terms of like the more nuanced abilities, no. Alternate reality. What if Atreus God of War found himself in Percy Jackson? I don't know. What if? I don't have a good answer for that. Personal versus the human side of a reporter. Ian, a man chasing stories, has favorite dislikes and guilty pleasures. What are you a fan of musicals? If so, which one's first to court? I love musicals. Wicked was really good recently. Greatest Show was really good. Some older school musicals I like. Blues Brothers is a musical. So I would say, I'd say Blues Brothers is definitely one of them. Any Muppet movies, particularly Muppet Treasure Island, that's a musical. Favorite music genre? Rock mostly. Which film makes you groan or hide your eyes? Hide my eye like this, not like oh my god, but like face palm essentially. Huh. I mean, Young Adults was one of them, definitely. Cats was another one. Sometimes the diamond hides in the rough. What's your favorite movie in your least liked genre? My least liked genre. Uh, Honestly, horror is probably my least liked. Not even that's not even true. I don't really have a least liked genre, but least liked or like a genre I hate, but maybe horror movies. But my favorite one probably Werewolf in London. Agreeable characters. Which TV show characters made you pause thinking a minute? Yeah, I see your point there. Oh, like House half the time on House MD. Yeah, he was an asshole, and he wasn't always right, but a lot of the time he's making good points. If you could sort characters in Hogwarts houses, who would go where? What characters? Like that? You're talking about? If you're talking about every character ever, that's too many. Like Naruto's certainly a Gryffindor. Yamamoto would also probably be a Gryffindor, if I'm going to be honest. Although, I could see Shunsui very much being either a Ravenclaw or a Slytherin, but a good Slytherin. Just because of how underhanded he is. If we go with like SpongeBob, he's probably a Hufflepuff, if I'm going to be honest. If we go Dexter, he's probably a Ravenclaw. It's just, yeah, what characters? Doctor Who, what's your favorite incarnation of the Doctor to date? Because we only just started watching Jodie. Ooh, to date. Oh, that's tough. It is probably though a toss up between Tennant and Capaldi right now. If you were to put my feet to the fire, and I'm talking about 10th Doctor Tennant, not 14th Doctor Tennant. If you were to put my feet to the fire on that, I might lean towards Tenet. But again, wait till I get through all the modern Doctors to really give an answer on that. Upcoming Death Battles. What Death Battles are you dying to see? Like that have been announced or haven't been announced? I gave my list of what a season of Death Battle should be, so you can find that video. Clark leans forward, lowering his voice, if sharing a secret only with you, gleaming his eyes. So tell me, which of these questions do you have an answer for first? I don't know, Superman. What? But my glasses, yeah, your hypno glasses. But you did this. I recognize you immediately. Anyway, I digress. My voice is kind of going to be gone. I still got 2 more videos to do. I'll deal with that when I deal with that. I'm taking a break at the moment. Till then, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you for the next one. Later.